Hey, shalom, peace and blessings, Sword Ministry. Michael back with another video. And what I want to talk about today is being a convicted felon and some of the disadvantages that come along with being a convicted felon and having made mistakes and being caught red-handed for the mistakes that I've made and how I've paid for them and different things like that. And as I said, I am a convicted felon. I flattened my time completely, flattened my sentence in August 1st, 2014. And since that time, I've done and strived to be a productive member of society and obey the laws of the land. Just to get right on into it, when you are a convicted felon, whether or not you ever have a release date or you're spending the rest of your life in prison, it's basically a life sentence. You're going to be basically held, and that record's going to follow you for the rest of your life. And here's some reasons how it's going to happen. First off, in job applications. Every job application that you ever go to or whatever, there's going to be, a question there. Have you ever been convicted of a felony? Yes or no? Then it'll have a little bitty, itty tiny line that says explain. And in my opinion, that's just a trick question, because there's really no way that you could ever explain that, especially in that little bit of an amount. And so that right there will follow you for the rest of your life. While you are serving your sentence, whether you're in prison, probation, or parole, your rights to vote are all the way gone, which in my opinion, the right to vote is highly overrated. I believe that presidents are selected, not elected. I don't believe that we as a people have any say in who goes into office, Congress, presidency, whatever. But one of the main reasons that I was doing this video is because of the Second Amendment right. The right of a people to keep and bear arms, not to be infringed upon. And, because I made a mistake in my 20s and I'm almost 40 years old, now I can't own a firearm. I can't protect my property, my home, or my family, with that right. It's been stripped away from me. And so, I encourage people to, walk a good path. Don't get in trouble, because it will follow you for the rest of your life, and those consequences will follow you, and they will, affect the rest of your life. But the statistics, as far as employment goes, the statistics show that 60 to 75% of all convicted felons upon release are still unemployed a year later. And the reason why that is like I said, because the cards are stacked against us, and the system is rigged in order to have people return to prison because they're committing crimes to try to make money, drug dealing, whatever, stealing, robbing, which they don't have to do, but it's hard to get a good paying job. Not many people want to hire convicted felons. And, as I said, the statistics show 60 to 75% of all convicted felons are unemployed a year up to, being released from prison. And 3 out of 4 people normally return to prison within 5 years. And so, I've been out just over 5 years. And I praise Yah for that I have not returned, because the truth is, it's not hard to get out here and get a charge, get a crime, especially in this day and age. The sad part about it is, in my opinion, about this mass incarceration in this country we live in today, is 85% of all people that are doing time, that are locked up for their crimes, 85% are victimless crimes. That means nobody got hurt, nobody's property was damaged or stolen, and as I said, nobody was bodily injured or hurt. So these victimless crimes could be anything from parking tickets, getting caught with some kind of illegal substance, from driving, offenses, child support, not failure to obey court orders. 85% of the 2 million adults in jail are in there for victimless crimes. They didn't hurt nobody, and they didn't break nothing, didn't steal nothing. And that's pretty sad to say. And saying that, it's very obvious that the police and that the government are thirsty to put the cuffs on people. They are going out of their way to charge people with all kinds of stuff and put them in jail for things that don't need to be putting people in jail for, in my opinion. They're thirsty to put the cuffs on, and that's just the way it is. And it's interesting the fact how judges and district attorneys, the ones who are prosecuting and overseeing these cases, they're so overworked. They deal with 50 to 100 people a day, just pushing them through like cattle, treating them worse than animals, really, and not properly, overseeing what's being done there. They don't really care. They have a 90% conviction rate, and 90% of the time, those convictions are not convictions at a trial where you have 13 and a half chance. That means 12 jurors, one judge, and a half chance at beating that case, especially if you don't have proper, counsel and attorneys. And that's going to cost, that's a whole nother ball game where you could be, spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And half the time, these charges that are charged against people are bogus, trumped up, and false allegations against people. It's crazy because, I've been to prison. I know I've seen people that they didn't do what it was they said they were doing. They were appealing, they were fighting, they got shafted on their lawyer, whatever, what have you. But it's bad because people commit perjury and falsify police reports all the time. I believe that falsifying a police report is supposed to be a felony, but in this day and age, it's no problem, no big deal. Why? Because the district attorney and the judges and everybody involved in the criminal justice system, they don't care about right and wrong. They don't care if you're guilty. All they care about is convictions and statistics. They just want to lock people up, period, point blank and simple. And it's very obvious that they don't practice the golden rule as to do unto others as you would have done to yourself. Because that's all they care about is convictions. They just want to lock people up to go along with their 2 million people who are incarcerated. And it's all a money racket. Then you have close to 4 million people on probation and parole. And each one of these people are required to pay a monthly fee or whatever. So this translates to like $30,000 to $60,000 per inmate annually. Okay, and my question is, who's the real criminal? Who's the real thief? Who really needs to be evaluated? Because I can tell you right now, I didn't receive no $30,000 or $60,000 annually, yearly for the time I was in prison. They have one person overseeing 128 men. And that person's getting paid about $10 an hour. And that's why they're smuggling in cell phones, drugs, and all different types of contraband. It really is baffling, where all this money's going. $180 billion a year. If you want to know the truth of the matter about anything, just follow the money, follow the paper trail. And that's why we live in a nation that's hell-bent and thirsty to put the cuffs on you. This is the sword of the Spirit. Be diligent. Obey the law. Don't get in trouble because it will affect you for the rest of your life, especially to these young children, young kids. If they don't have any good guidance, as I didn't have no good guidance. I was toe to toe with the ghetto my whole life, single mom type of thing. Then you can be led down the wrong path and not aware of the consequences and how it's going to affect you for the rest of your life. Sword ministry. Sharpen up that sword.